Hi guys, this is the Bridge Briefing with Nizar Kinsella. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of Chelsea's activity in the transfer window and then touch upon a little bit the game at the weekend. It's a few days now since the dust has settled, since Chelsea drew 0-0 with Crystal Palace, and what did we learn from that game? But yeah, I guess just to start off, it's been a very interesting week. It's two weeks now until the transfer deadline, until we've passed that sort of threshold, and it's the end of the summer transfer window. Chelsea have been busy this summer as they often are. It's not been a crazy summer by any means, and there's been a huge amount of player sales as well, and we'll probably review that after the fact. But yeah, I think now we're kind of getting to the thick of it, where there's going to be a lot of deals, not just for Chelsea, but around the grounds, around about everywhere. So yeah, it's quite sort of exciting times. But let's talk about this week from Chelsea's point of view, because I went to Enzo Maresca's first press conference before the Premier League season, and I was asking him questions about the centre-back situation. Very interesting. He said that internally, the club's idea, and I'll get onto this more, I was the first to write the story, is to replace the injured centre-back, Levi Colwill, who's had surgery on his knee. He's out for the majority of the season because it's an ACL injury, and we know it takes 6 to 9 months. He wanted a sort of replacement to come from the transfer window, but Chelsea are looking more internally. Very interesting comments that it's rare. It's rare to see this manager not agree with the transfer policy of this ownership. It's incredibly rare. It's a testament, really, in my opinion, to this working relationship that's been so great so far. Now, how worried should we be that Chelsea are not signing a centre-back? And the Moresca wants one, they're not signing one. Should we be worried? Is that a bad thing? For me, it's difficult. I have to respect all opinions in this debate. I'm not going to say one person's right, one person's wrong. That's not my role as a reporter. I can just tell you the facts, and I really understand this in some detail, and I've looked at the data as well, by the way, in some detail. I'm sure Enzo Maresca knows more than me, but I'll give it a good go. So this is the state of play. Chelsea have 6 fit centre-backs after Colwill's injury still, so 6 centre-backs for 2 positions. That is an important number to throw out there, and this is why Chelsea are sticking rather than going into the market, because they've got Tosin, who is the closest in Moresca's mind replacement to Colwill, because he plays in that central centre-back role, and I'll get more onto that in a bit. But then they've got Josh Achimpong, Trevor Chalobah, I'm reading it because I need to, Benoit Badiashile, and Wesley Fofana, and Joel Hato, the new signing from Ajax. So those are the 6 centre-backs that are relevant. Now, that's not including possible emergency options, Reece James or Marc Cucurella or Aaron Anselmino, the signing from Boca Juniors in January last year. So there's a lot of those options there for Chelsea. I think Anselmino might go on loan. They would ideally not like to play fullbacks at centre-back, but it just shows the real great depth, really, in defence that Chelsea have. And that's why they're not signing a player. You've also got situations like, we know at Chimpong, and you've seen that in my reporting, it would frustrate him if they signed another centre-back. He wants the opportunity. He played there against Crystal Palace in the Colwill role, and I'll get more into that again later. Badiashile is currently injured. He's another one who wants more minutes. Wesley Fofana, currently injured. He's coming back, and he'll want to get straight in the team, and he'll be a regular. Tosin even wants more minutes. And then Joel Hato, he doesn't... he's very similar to Colwill in many ways in sort of profile. And yes, he's sort of been primarily brought in as a backup for Marc Cucurella, a left back. But he is a centre back first and foremost before being a left back. He was converted into a left back last season by his manager Francesco Farioli at Ajax. So, it does make sense, the club position that we know about, because Moresca's spoken about it, that they want to replace internally. Now, can Moresca turn those into a good enough player to replace Colwill? Let's see. Colwill started 35 of the 38 games in the Premier League last season, so that just shows you how much Moresca values him. You've also got Disasi and Vega on the books, but they are not going to be brought back. So why does Moresca feel this way, that they need to sign a player? I tried to get right into it in the press conference. It was great detail. Now, there's one thing, they tried other players in that position, and there's been a mixed bag of performances. Tosin has done very well in it, apparently, and when you look at the data, his stats are good for passing as well. A lot of the passing that we're talking about here is threading it through the line, starting attacks. That's what Moresca wants from this defender. And Levi Colwill, so Moresca plays with a back four, yes, we know that. Left back, two centre-backs, a right back. Colwill's a left centre-back. But when Chelsea have the ball, the fullback steps into either midfield, one of the two fullback steps either into midfield or becomes an overlapping fullback joining the attack. And the other three defenders stay back. They stay back, they build. And the middle one in the build-up is the most important for starting the attacks. They receive the ball from the goalkeeper, they move it around the pitch to try and pump it through the lines. Colwill is exceptional at this. He's the best in Moresca's mind at this, and that's why Moresca thinks he needs a new signing. Now, the best natural replacement's Tosin. He was injured for Crystal Palace, so they had to go with another guy. In pre-season, they tried both Achimpong and Chalobah in that role as well, and Achimpong got the opportunity against Palace and did a pretty good job. His tendency, he usually plays on the right side of defence, so he's usually got a different role, but he played the Colwill role, did pretty well. He gave the ball away 2 occasions, which was almost dangerous. One of them actually led to Eze's free kick goal, but it was ruled out because of a strange rule to do with Mark Gahey being too close to the wall, 1 metre away. So, we've seen this sort of, can Moresca coach one of these players who doesn't do this naturally to do it? And that's what's being asked. And the thing is, we're getting in Moresca, and his opinion is very difficult to quantify, but we know, and I've looked at the stats, that a lot of the passing stats of the defenders is similar or better in some cases than Colwill. So, but of course we know that Colwill maybe played the harder games, so his stats might have dropped. It's incredibly complicated, but in Moresca's mind, Colwill's the best at being the central centre-back, starting the attacks, and that's why he'd like to enter the market for one. But you can kind of see the club's position. We've got 6 other options. Very good, Heito's very good, Fafana's very good, Badiashile wants a chance, Achimpong wants a chance. And to me, and this is just my opinion now, if they do sign another player, and if they change their mind and they get one in, that probably means at least one's going to be sold, if not 2. Because it's going to be very happy to keep that group of players, together if a big player comes in. And then also, what happens when Colwill's back and there's another big player? Can those two coexist? And then what does that mean for Tosin, who has been doing the role as well? So it's so complicated and difficult. I feel for all sides of this one, and I can see why there's disagreement. It's not felt like a disagreement that's such a negative one that it could damage relationships behind the scenes, at least not yet. It's not bubbled up. Maybe if Chelsea are really poor for a long time and Moresca starts going, "I told you so," then I don't know if that would change. But certainly right now it feels like the vibes are still good at Chelsea. Very interestingly, Moresca wouldn't talk about this anymore after the game. Of course, it was 0-0, so against Crystal Palace on Sunday, and certainly defence didn't do too badly, but the attack didn't do enough. And moving on to transfers now, incomings, we know they're not really going to do a centre-back, or it would be a surprise at this stage. Also, similar story for goalkeeper. We're not expecting one. Chelsea have been linked with Donnarumma, who's available for sale at PSG, but we don't think that's going to happen. But incomings are around forwards, so we know Chelsea misfired. It's not a reactionary thing. This has always been the case, but the 2 main options are Manchester United winger Garnacho, and now I think that Moresca's spoken about this. If he wants a position strengthened at the minute, other than centre-back, is left wing, because there's just Jamie Gittins played, he started his first game, made his debut at the weekend and did pretty well, okay, wasn't unbelievable. But yeah, having more competition on left wing would be ideal for Chelsea. I think we're getting to the point where the attack's already very good, so these are kind of luxury signings. And then number 10 as well, Xavi Simons, we know, he could be an option to strengthen that area. He's quite versatile and can play in other areas anyway, especially on the left as well himself. So they're luxury signings for me, but certainly Chelsea are open to getting those two in. I think Garnacho is more likely, potentially. And yeah, so those are two options. And yeah, I think that a lot of it depends on outgoings. So Nicholas Jackson will probably leave. That's being explored by Chelsea and Jackson's camp. Christopher Nkunku as well. We've seen a lot of stuff around Bayern recently. They've definitely been in talks. Like, can he go there? We'll see. We'll see if the deal gets completed. There's other potential teams interested. Newcastle and Barcelona previously have been looking at it, and if the conditions drop, then more and more teams will want him. RB Leipzig as well, and Chelsea are looking for these outgoings. There's also Tyreek George could leave as well, so I think kind of three need to leave for Garnacho and Simons to come in. Also, that makes sense when you actually look at the amount of options Chelsea have. They need players to leave to fit them in, and then we've got other players that can leave. There's loads of let's not forget there's that bomb squad with Sterling, Chilwell, Chukwuemeka, Disasi, Vega. Vega's having some strong interest from Villarreal at the minute, and there'll be a lot more. Chukwuemeka, Dortmund, Leipzig. Can he go there? Potentially other moves. We've not heard too much about the others. Sterling, a bit of rumours that he could be going on loan again, but we've got to be careful because there's only 6 overseas loan spots. 4 have been used, so there's only 2 left. So overseas loans are also at a premium here, and Chelsea ideally want to use those for players they're developing, but I guess guys like Sterling, if it's an emergency, could go on loan. So yeah, there's a lot going on. And then first game of the season I was there. I'll just talk about it a little bit. Lack of maybe creativity in attack. I'm not saying the players weren't there, but just Palace are just a very good team as well. So Palace played the best team and they've got a great 11, and you can see the difference a little bit between Palace and Chelsea in that Palace guys, they started better and they know how to play together, don't they? They've been together, this team. They won the FA Cup. They beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. They beat Man City in the FA Cup final. They are a team that are absolutely rock solid. So yeah, it was a tough game, 0-0. I think the draw was fair. Moresca wouldn't agree with that. He said that they should have won. And look, Palace were better in the first half. Chelsea were better in the second half. Draw's fair for me. Chelsea had pretty good expected goals. They did create stuff. But then you actually look at the chances and you're thinking, what were the big chances? A lot of low value chances that could have been goals, but they weren't really huge chances. The biggest chance by statistics was the Andre Santos one late on, which he blazed over, but it fell on his weak foot. So how much of a chance is that then? So yeah, it's exciting watching Estevan Willian again and things like that. But I think that this Chelsea team deserve a bit of leeway because they've had the Club World Cup, short pre-season. There's a lot of new players again. So unlike Palace, who know how to play together, these guys are learning it all over again. So look, we need to give them a little bit of time. We can't make snap judgments too much. But yeah, certainly if Chelsea want to do something special this season, they're going to have to score a lot of goals, and they're trying to build the attack to do that. And yeah, there's going to be I certainly would be shocked, stunned if they didn't sign at least one more attacker, and it could be 2. So yeah, also if they don't get the offers they want, they could reinstate Jackson, who's a good player, and Nkunku, good player. They like these guys. It's just time for them to move on. I think all parties agree. Anyway, that's enough of my ramblings, but hopefully you got enough of it on the bridge briefing here today. Send me some messages in the comments below. I'm here in Manchester. I'm going to the PFA Awards in a bit. So it's going to be an interesting week. Then back down south to watch Chelsea against West Ham. I'll be there in East London watching the second game of the season, and hopefully, for you guys especially, Chelsea will get their first win of the year. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and good to speak to you. Take care.